want to say welcome, good morning, good morning, good morning on a Wednesday, June the 17th, the week of Juneteenth. Juneteenth will be celebrated this coming Friday and probably the whole weekend. Thank you and welcome to another edition of the Open Line Radio Show here on AOC Community Media. People, again, please think about becoming a member. Join AOC, support media that's unbiased, media that's unscripted, media that informs the community. And here's the great selling part about AOC Community Media. In the 5 parish area, it's a footprint of potential Cox Cable Company customers and LUS Fiber customers to see this program and other programs like it and other types of programming, even if you disagree with us or even if you disagree with the others. Now, my thing is this. Mainstream media has been bought off a long time ago, right? We know that, right? All the stuff that we thought when we were young and innocent to see now where CBS has been bought off by the Ellison family, big supporter of the MAGA people who don't believe in free speech. The only free speech they believe in is fixed news, which is Fox News. And also, check this news headline out. Everybody got these Roku sticks in their house. The Roku is a platform where you could get streaming information, streaming programming, because technology has gone over from terrestrial signal analog radio to digital, and Roku is a digital platform. Well, Roku has been bought by Fox. This is not a rumor. Look it up. It's very factual. And let's see, brother Keith, call me back, brother Keith. So we got to understand that those type of program that you used to get where you used to get information like 60 Minutes has been bought off. So now Roku has been brought off by Fixed News, aka Fox News. So that's the things that's going on. And we got a guest coming up. And before we get our guest, I want to also get Brother Keith back on the line. So stay tuned. We could be right back before we get our guest on the Open Line Radio Show. And Black Music Month also, people. You got to remember that too. Black Music Month. Please celebrate. Even if you don't celebrate it this week, celebrate it. Listen to some old school music. It's the best in town. So we'll be right back after we get Brother Keith back on the line. here on AOC Community Media.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of AOC Community Media, Cox Cable, LUS Fiber, or any entities they represent. Thanks for listening.
Listen up, my people. June is Black Music Month. So here at the Open Line Radio Show and Real Talk TV, we are celebrating the rich and profound cultural and historical contributions of African American artists. Music is the soundtrack of all of us. Let's celebrate.
Yeah, we're back here at the Open Line Radio Show here on AOC Community Media. As I was coming back on air, waiting on Brother Keith again, I've seen from my home area of Iberia Parish that Parish President Mr. Larry Richard is just issuing a public advisory, and I didn't get the full text of it. I guess it has something to do. You know, we on the tropical storm watch. And I'm going to try to pull up the weather to inform our people in the Five Parish area while this show is on. Can't say we don't try to inform the people, even though we're controversial. And those who are watching in the city of New Iberia, check out, go to your phone. I'm pretty sure you got the alert. The alert popped up on my phone. I just hope it don't pop up while my guest is on, because that's a tropical storm warning. I guess that's what Mr. Larry Richard wants to talk about. And I think it's having to do with the tropical storm Arthur that's supposedly going to be upon us later on tonight and tomorrow. So pay attention to your weather reports, people. We know this area floods a lot. Also. We're waiting on our guest. We have as our guest Mr. Gary Crockett. He's a candidate for the United States Senate Democratic nomination. He's in runoff with Mr. Jamie Davis. We had Mr. Davis on earlier this month, and we want to give him equal time and equal opportunity. But when we come back, after we talk to Mr. Crockett on the issue of running for that seat in the United States Congress, and you know, some people say maybe you can't, maybe you can. Don't give up, because the unexpected, anything could happen with this thing that's going on. We got the MAGA crowd is really on fire right now. They're really cutting up left and right. But the more things change, the more they remain the same. I'm gonna throw up this picture right here, very troubling, where you had the story of a young child that was killed in response to what you call the Walmart drop a dime call, where law enforcement show up when Walmart called the law on you for shoplifting. We don't know the crux of the story, and nobody's here to pass judgment. But I know the judgment that we could say on site is: how do a 1-year-old child get killed by police? How do a 1-year-old child get killed by police? However, which way you want to look at it. So we're going to bring up some news stories and have that discussion after we hear from our guests. Hopefully in a minute. Hopefully we could get him on time and talk about some things as it relates to the election. But this is so sad right here, people. So sad. MAGA, the mindset, law enforcement with that MAGA mindset. This is the order of the day. Coming up upon America's 250-year anniversary. And you got to ask yourself the question, are we as black people in a better place? But when you see these headlines right here, in Mississippi, of all places, kills a 1-year-old black child. So I'll put it like that first before anything else. Also, people, I got this flyer from Miss Robbie Bethel of New Iberia. She said the New Iberia celebration concerning Juneteenth has been postponed due to inclement weather. And we just talked about the alert that everybody's getting on their phone concerning Tropical Storm Arthur. Those who are watching outside the area, New Iberia sits in the most southern part of Louisiana, south central Louisiana, close to the coast. So we are always affected by these approaching storms. So I guess in retrospect and out of safety precaution, they're going to postpone the Juneteenth celebration that was supposed to be this weekend, and they have a new date on June 27th. So pay attention to this, my people. Pay attention to this. Again, we're going to go back to our Black Music Month, and see if we could get our guests on and talk about some things concerning the election.
I may be just a foolish dreamer, but I don't care, 'cause I know my happiness is waiting out there somewhere. I'm searching for that silver lining, horizons that I've never seen. Oh, I'd like to take just a moment and dream my dream. Oh, dream my dream. Whoa, whoa.
We're back here with the Open Line Radio Show, seen on AOC Community Media in the 5-parish area of South Louisiana. You're on in Crowley, Lafayette, Abbeville, St. Martinville, and all points in between. We just got an alert from the parish president concerning the approaching tropical storm Arthur. And I think, I don't have the whole full alert, but please check your phones. You should get the alert. Certainly there's some inclement weather that could be approaching South Louisiana. But we're going to go on to this segment, and as promised, we're going to have United States Senate candidate Gary Crockett to join us and tell us about his platform and tell us a little bit about himself. Good morning, Mr. Crockett.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Man, I finally got you on, man. I'm sorry we couldn't have you in the studio on last week. We're in the studio, but week before, I think it was my mix-up, my fault. But we want to give you equal time. We had one of the Democratic opponents, Mr. Jamie Davis, on, and he gave us his platform and how he felt about things and what he's planning to do if elected. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Crockett, and where are you from, and what's your intention if you get elected as the Senate representative from Louisiana.
Well, first, I want to say thanks for having me on. It's a great opportunity to be able to speak with the people. I am originally from Tallulah, Louisiana, which is not that far from you. Tallulah has a population of about 7,000. Agriculture is really big there as well, but it's also impoverished. Okay. So after leaving Tallulah, I left Tallulah at about 17 years old, and I went away to college and then to the Navy for 24 years. Then I went to college again. So I have 2 degrees, and now after retiring from the Navy, I own 4 businesses. And with those 4 businesses, they're all successful. We've always been paying employees a minimum of $15 an hour ever since 2005. So it didn't matter what you came in to do, whether it was janitorial or otherwise. So I'm a very practical person. I didn't enter this race to be a career politician. I've waited, I think, a long way in life to start that. I'll be 62 years old this year. I'm the oldest of the candidates, even though I look the youngest.
Yes.
And I'm running for results. It's all about results for me. That practicality from being in the military, from having successful businesses, just says that the people need better. I want to get rid of some of the poverty that we have in quite a few places. One, by working with companies to raise the minimum wage. And I'm not going to do it in a way in which I'm going to make promises that can't be kept. I think that is the problem with most people that are politicians. And because I'm a solutions provider and not a politician, I only say what I'm going to do that I know can be done.
Yes, yes. And what made you, again, to emphasize, what made you, in face of all this insurmountable opposition with the dynamics of politics today, I'm a little bit controversial. We have people who are running who are not really experienced, but running more on social order. Some of them would say some of them are running because racism is alive and well. What would make you get into a race such as this?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. The reason that I'm in this race is because I was considering moving away from Louisiana and away from the United States. And the reason why is because, number one, the taxes are high. Tired of seeing my brothers and sisters of any race continue to live in poverty and lack of leadership. Because I've been a leader of men for over 20 years, just in the military, and then a leader of everyone on my business side. It was horrible to see people just taking directions from others instead of being leaders themselves. With leadership, there's innovation. With leadership, you get something different. And that is not what we're getting right now in Washington. And even my opponent, the Democratic Party, told me the reason why they endorsed him was because he's a good old boy and he's going to do what he's told. Mm-hmm. I'm not a safe candidate by no stretch of the imagination. If you're looking for a safe candidate, don't vote for me. Safe candidates get you exactly what you've gotten all of this time. You're going to get the same thing you've been getting by voting for a safe candidate. When I look at the amount of property taxes that I pay here in New Orleans, I'll just tell you what it is because I believe in transparency. My yearly property tax is over $16,000 a year. Not my mortgage, my property tax. And along with that, we still ride over the same tore up streets. We still have the same bad infrastructure. We still have lack of services. And those things can change. When Katrina hit New Orleans, they should have started cleaning up this city from the 9th Ward and New Orleans East, then toward the middle of the city. But instead, they took care of the rich, and they took care of the corporations, and they took care of the city and left the people that were most impacted bare. And that's the way it is right now. There's no real supermarket there's no supermarket in the 9th Ward at all. In New Orleans East, the only thing that you have for a supermarket is Walmart. So the entire culture has been torn up. I want to make things better for everyone. And I think it should be equal for everyone when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to job growth as well.
And given the metrics of Louisiana, I'm sorry to say, Mr. Crockett, is very dismal. We consistently rank last in the last couple of columns of measurement of the positive things and first in a lot of the negative things. And wouldn't you agree, coming as a voter myself, that Louisiana has to gut the whole nonsense of what they do in Baton Rouge and what they do in Washington, D.C., when we have representatives who don't advocate for the people, but more for the special interests. You know, the oil companies, the some of these farms in Louisiana are not really owned by regular farmers. They're owned by big corporations. You know, because I live in the area where they grow abundance of sugar cane, and
Right.
I'm trying to understand why all this sugar cane being harvested when they already said science and think tanks said too much sugar, and it's not benefiting us. It's actually hurting us. It's like a situation where we consume a lot of stuff that we don't really need. But again, going back to that, sometimes I segue off and do a rant, but I'm trying to get our politicians to understand that we got negative numbers. Plain and simple, we got negative numbers.
Well, that is true. Louisiana sits at the bottom in most areas as far as states are concerned, right at 50th. And then on a few other areas, on education, they've moved up to, I think, 46 or 45. That still isn't good. That is still scraping the bottom. But in addition to that, we have politicians, and that's exactly what they are. They're politicians that take money from APAC, take money from corporations, take money from special interests, take money from lobbyists, and they don't do legislation that helps the people. They're up there being get-along boys instead. Even I started in Louisiana. When they brought up the redistricting legislation, that never should have been at the top of the agenda. Mm-hmm. But the reason it was at the top of the agenda is because those that were supposed to represent us wasn't putting forth any legislation with any teeth in it. So in other words, we have a session with the representatives and senators that we have that represent us. If each one of them had 2 pieces of legislation that they had authored, that would have put that redistricting bill way back on the back burner, right, where it may not have even made it through this legislative session unless they had a special session. Right. But because they were twiddling their thumbs, that's how they were able to vote and bring that one forth. They're not working for us. Mm-hmm. And then after this legislation session was over, they had a party.
Yeah.
Now, I don't understand why in the hell you'll be having a party when you just got your tail whipped.
Yes.
But in addition to having a party, you invited one of the very people that are suppressing us with their legislation to the party. But as Morris and others said, they're out there having dinner with them and hanging out with them all the time. Well, so they're not representing us. They're representing their own interests. And that is why I also believe that there should be term limits. I believe that a U.S. senator should only be able to serve for 2 terms, not consecutive, 2 terms, period. For the representatives, the congressmen, they should be able to serve 6 terms. So both of those will equal a total of 12 years. That's the only way that we're going to get innovation in. That's the only way we're going to get young people in. Me being 62 this year, I only want to serve 1 term. And the only reason why I want to serve 1 term is because I want to usher in some young blood into the Senate that's going to care about the people and that's going to bring some innovation. Yeah. As long as we keep doing things the same way, we're going to get the same results. And that is the problem.
Yeah, and there's room right now, especially with a lot of people are being dissatisfied with the way governments run, whether they're Republicans and Democrats. And I know you're a Democrat, and I know you. And I'm listening to you talk, and you sound like a person who can handle being in a party that sometimes, most of the time, deserves criticism. My thing is this: the Democratic Party in Louisiana, and I focus on that on my show, has been in trouble for a long, long time. You're going back to the previous chairman of the Democratic Party, Miss Katie Bernhardt. There were some issues with her. That was a red flag when Governor Landry ran. So we could walk and chew gum at the same time. So the Democratic Party has to have some self-examination. Most of the situation with the negativity with the Democratic Party are self-inflicted. And that's why I'm hoping a brother like you, and I don't just mean to say it like that, because they got people who might be looking outside what I call you brother. A person like you, we need more people like you who know the problem within the Democratic Party. You got to solve your problem within that party before you could move forward and people give you a look and say, look, these people they're standing on righteous ground. They trying to change some things. But I don't see that right now with the Democratic Party. I mean, you know, I tend to vote. I'm a registered independent, and I got myself in all this rigmarole about who could vote and came. But the whole point, if I have to pull a level for Gary Crockett or anyone similar to him, I have to put. That's who I'm gonna have to look at, and that's what in other words, that's what we need: fresh people in a party who are going to be for the people, as opposed to that system, that failed system, you know, that we live in.
And I agree with you 1,000%. So let me give you some scenarios where really some facts that happened. So when I talked with the Democratic Party, they were more concerned about what donations I can make to events that they were having and things of that sort. So Jamie Davis is a member of the Democratic Party. He's been a member of that organization for quite some time. The problem is this. I told them, I say, I can help you more than you can help me. Number one, I'm not going to buy endorsements. So many of these endorsements by my opponents were purchased. Guess how many endorsements I received?
How many?
I'll just tell you, 0.
Wow.
And guess what? The only endorsement I want are the votes of the people. I'm not concerned about the mayor of New Orleans or anyone else saying, oh, this is who I want, because that is the whole problem. The political machine is keeping things just the way that they are. And they're putting in people who have never run a business of any type. We have a mayor who was a news broadcaster and then became mayor. So we're talking about someone who's never operated a budget at all. So then we have budget deficits that they don't know how to handle. So they get with the cronies and those people who've given political donations and make bad deals. So the mayor took $103 million from a company that made donations to her, and the city gave up $43 million to take 103 right now. And then was said that, well, we're doing this so that we could have plenty of money in case of a hurricane or something like that. Well, first of all, the city doesn't take care of that. FEMA comes in to do that. So they continue to lie to the people. The Democratic Party needs to be, the Louisiana Democratic Party needs to be torn up and rebuilt.
Yes.
Even the bylaws are structured as such that it doesn't benefit doing better and having better. They have no teeth in anything that they do. The leadership itself is slothful. I'm ashamed almost to even be a part of this party, but I don't have a choice anymore, because you know what? In Louisiana, we only have either you're going to run as a Democrat or run as a Republican.
Right.
You don't have a choice outside of that.
There you go.
And most times I feel politically homeless because I don't want to be with the pedophiles.
Yes.
I don't want to be with the crooks. But I also don't want to be with the people who are disenfranchising their own people. And that is what is happening here. But in addition to that, this may be controversial, but it's true. Even when we look at this political race, and I looked at all the data, you know, when black people are running, do you know white people stay at home?
Yeah.
When they don't have their own choice, they stay at home, which is so disingenuous. Either you're part of the party or you're just part of race. And that is what they look at. We're only 30% of the population here in Louisiana. And in the Democratic Party, our percentage is even higher. But then when it comes to voting, early voting for the primary, we had 21,000 white people that voted, 51,000 black people voted. How does that ever happen? But see, that's the same thing that happened in some of the presidential races as well. They will stay at home. And that is a problem. When people are comfortable, they don't care about others. And that has to change.
Let me ask you this. You think, given the economics of the political climate right now, you know, high gas prices and so forth, that's going to drive even some of those people who tend to vote more towards the Republicans, or even the so-called MAGA crowd, who's disappointed with a lot of the stuff that the hierarchy is doing, right? So a lot of people are disappointed in this governor also on the MAGA side. My thing, that is the excellent moment for the Democratic Party to transform itself into a people's party. And they're not taking advantage of it.
And they're also not being honest. So when the Democratic autopsy report came out concerning the Kamala Harris campaign, she raised $2 billion. And the autopsy report showed that Ken Martin and others were more concerned about making sure that their buddies were able to get some of those contracts and spend that money than getting her elected.
Wow.
That was one issue. The other issue is the Democratic Party is not honest. Joe Biden should have stepped down from the presidency when he knew he was ill. Allow Kamala Harris to come in as president where she would have been the incumbent. But instead, because of ego and pride, he stayed in, got stuck like a deer in headlights, wasn't saying anything on the stage, and then we knew that we were doomed at that point. And no amount of money would have saved that. The same issue happened with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She did the same thing, knowing she had cancer and was fighting it. Instead of stepping down so that we could get another young person that would support the people's rights in office, she let her ego lead her instead.
Wow.
And so we lost another Supreme Court seat. This dishonesty is not serving us well, and it's all to our detriment. When we have a failing economy under Democrats, we have to be bold enough to say, you know what, this economy is bad, but this is what we're going to do. And only make a promise of something that is measurable that you can do. Stop lying to the people. Do the right thing. Do the same thing that you do within your household. When things are tough, you say, hey, we got to tighten up the belt. Things are just tough. You know, I can't get any overtime. Do the same with the people. And that's all that I want. And these are the reasons that I'm running, because we have to bring back honesty and integrity to leadership and let it be only about the people.
One of the questions I want to ask you, the same question I asked Mr. Davis when he was on, if elected and to serve the state of Louisiana as a United States Senator, would you support or would you push? And this is a little litmus test question. It's not necessarily you have to answer. Would you push to expand the Supreme Court? In other words, you know, we heard the theory that if you expand it right now, you have a chance to have more, let's say, meaningful laws that would help our people instead of hurting our people. So would you be in favor of expanding the court or keeping the court just like it is?
I would not be in favor of expanding the court. And here's the reason why.
Okay.
That's exactly what we had with the redistricting. Mm-hmm. Trying to expand it, trying to change it, one trying to outdo the other, and it stops nowhere. It's like a merry-go-round. What we need to do is make sure that we bring some ethics to the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. That's how we can get bad people removed. Those like Clarence Thomas, Alito, and others that are taking money when they shouldn't because they don't have any ethics policy in the Supreme Court, put that policy in, because that will clean out a lot of it. Because when they're making these rulings where some companies that are giving them money is involved, that is wrong.
Yes.
Let's clean it up. Let's not expand it. And then the next time Republicans are in, then they expand it more. Next thing you know, we'll have 100 people on the Supreme Court if we do it that way. Let's do it with some integrity and remove the bad apples. Not bad apples by policy and by vote, but bad apples by ethics. And that is what we have there right now. Right. There's some people that should have never got on the Supreme Court, like Kavanaugh. And I can't even think of the last lady that Trump nominated for the Supreme Court. When we see those issues, we have to stand firm and not confirm those people. But it's time for Democrats to be tough. It's time for Republicans to have some integrity. If you put those two things together, we will have a better unified nation.
Another thing, what you think is the most pressing issue that the state of Louisiana faced that you would have some input on if elected United States Senator?
Well, the first one is they need more money in their pocket. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. The minimum wage in Louisiana is $7.25 an hour. I work with one of my clients, which is the city of Reno, which has about the same population as New Orleans. Reno was primarily a tourism town, just like New Orleans is. But this is what Reno did. Next year, the minimum wage in Reno would be $14.25 an hour. Next year, the minimum wage in New Orleans will still be $7.25 an hour. Tesla is now manufacturing batteries in Reno. SpaceX is now going to be manufacturing in Reno. Louisiana needs new innovation, but not the type of innovation they're bringing now. Data centers only create at most between 50 and 100 permanent jobs. That's it. But they give them billions of dollars in tax incentives. And those same data centers make billions of dollars a year.
Right. And
the people of Louisiana get none of those royalties. They come in and take all the tax incentives and they promise jobs. And what they do, they count the construction jobs, which are very temporary, and they're not permanent jobs. Tax incentives should only be based on permanent jobs. And it should be prorated based upon those permanent jobs. So in other words, if I give you $1 billion in tax incentives, it needs to be based upon the number of jobs you say. And if you say it's going to create 5,000 jobs, it has to be 5,000 permanent jobs.
Well, as it comes to data centers, it's almost the same playbook, Mr. Crockett, as what we do with tax incentives in the state of Louisiana, the giveaways, the big giveaways, and the promises of, even if we go into gambling and casinos, and I ran about that for the last 20, 30 years, we get these companies to come in, we create some type of situation where you hear a politician, Republican or Democrat, well, this is going to bring in a lot of money. This is going to help improve the schools. We had that with the casinos and the legalized gambling in the state of Louisiana. But have we saw any major improvements? Have we saw major improvements to infrastructure in the state of Louisiana because of casinos, because of gambling, because of tax incentive for all companies, or because of it are these big corporation businesses such as the data centers coming in? Have we seen any improvement? The metrics don't line up with all of this.
There's been zero improvement on those promises.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of hear you garbled, or you're around some electronics.
Okay,
coming in
hold on 1 second.
Mr. Crockett? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Hold on.
Okay. Yes. Well, yeah, we run into a few technical issues. But
is that better?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was saying that there's been zero improvement from all of those promises made by those industries. Mm-hmm. And that is because no one holds them accountable, and because the contracts that they make with them are flawed. And they are 1,000% in favor of these corporations. Mm-hmm.
You still there, Mr. Crockett?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that you completed your answer. Okay. Yeah. Yes. And this historically, Louisiana has been giving away. We the giveaway state. And yet the cutbacks to Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP benefits, work requirements, and so forth, all of these things. And they did that a couple of years ago. A lot of things they critiqued along the years. All of this contributes to Louisiana being last. Now, if I was a politician, we criticize the politicians from our area all the time on this show, even not the ones we support and vote for. And you would ask the question, should I be proud that I'm from a state that has been consistently ranked last? I got the metrics from Kids Count. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Kids Count, where they measure everything as far as the economy, health issues, money issues, crime and punishment. And Kids Count basically ranks Louisiana 48. Almost every year. So if I'm a person being elected to serve from dog catcher to United States Senator again, I would be somewhat taken aback by these numbers, or these companies, or these think tanks, or these universities, or these institutions making up these numbers about Louisiana, or they're just lying about us, or maybe it's us, the people, the voters, who don't make the right choices in our elections to putting people in office.
Well, I'm going to give you a quote from a military general. We have found the enemy, and it is ours.
Okay. I agree with you on that.
All of this is because of the people that we elect in office who we don't hold accountable. And these same people, when you try to talk to them, it's the same way. I think about my councilman. They will lie to you and say, "Oh, I'm going to get together and we're going to have breakfast or something like that."
Right.
That's what they tell one person. And then even this weekend, a particular councilman was supposed to give me a call back. Never heard from him. So we were at an event together, but he didn't know it. So you know what I did? I called his phone. And I was right behind him. Mm-hmm. I got the same lip speaking, then I tapped him on the shoulder. We have to hold them accountable.
Yes.
They need that accountability. And in addition to that accountability, they need to be out of office.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that Louisiana would elect a lot of people who not really that smart. I'm listening to you talk. My brother, you sound like you got a good education. You sound like you've been places and done things that other people haven't accomplished. Yet we elect people who are basically, I'm sorry, I would be critical, dumb as a box of rocks. We got to, and that's just me, that's people. I always give my disclaimer on this television show. We got to arrest United States representative from the 3rd Congressional District who's dumb as a box of rock. And the only saving grace about him is he beat up some person years ago as a member of Opelousas PD, and he did a Crime Stoppers video. Now people praise him and worship the ground he walks on. So this is the people we elected. We are electing in the state of Louisiana, and that's the problem. So, my brother, I just hope you can make some inroads in this election that are going to be positive, where you might have a chance to represent people like us.
Well, this is the thing. I just need the people to come out and vote for me. If you want to see something different, vote for me. And not only that, just as I posted on my social media, I'm willing to make a contract with the people of Louisiana. If I vote against your interests one time, I'm willing to resign and come home. And I'm not just talking about a contract with just lip speak. I'm talking about a civil contract where you can sue me and bring myself home. But you won't have to do that because I will hold myself accountable. If I go up there and vote against your interests, I'm coming home. It's just as simple as that. I'm not taking any money from AIPAC or anyone else. The majority of, well, you know what? It's not the majority. Every one of our delegation for Louisiana is taking AIPAC money.
Yes, indeed.
Every one of them. And that is horrible. That is something that needs to stop as well. Because they're being ruled by special interests instead. I will put up a website for every piece of legislation we have to vote on.
Yes.
I will put it in layman's terms so that they can understand it. Then I will put a survey in the back at the end of it so that the people of Louisiana can tell me how to vote.
Yes.
That is the way that it should be done because I'm there to represent you. But in addition to that, one of the things that I want to happen first, I want the affordable care subsidies to come back. After those subsidies come back, then what I want to do is I want to make sure that every American has the same level of health care that senators or representatives have. Why should we have better health care than the people we represent? When you send an ambassador, the ambassador doesn't have more than the person that they're representing.
Right.
Those are the things that I can promise you. I'm the one who says, if I don't do what you want me to do, if I don't represent your interests, I'll come home.
Yes, yes.
And that is what we need.
And Mr. Crockett, tell us more information how we could contact you, or how any individual out there who's looking at this program want to support your election bid.
Okay. They can go to CrockettForLouisiana.com.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's Crockett, F-O-R, Louisiana.com. In addition to that, my phone number is 504-422-6100. Again, that's 504-422-6100. And you can email me at info@CrockettForLouisiana.com. But feel free to call me. I answer all calls because this is very, very important.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Very accessible. Brother, how you, what I want to say, I've lost my train of thought thinking about how the negative stuff I brought up. But when is the election? You could give the listening audience a date.
Right. So the election is June 27th. Right now, you can go and vote today. Early voting is happening every day this week, except for Friday on Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing for people to do is to get up right now. And you know what? Take 5 to 10 people with you to the poll. Vote for Gary Crockett. You will see a difference. Either you'll see a difference or you'll see me laying down with blood because I'll be there fighting for you. One of the things that people don't know is everyone has heard about the Calvin Duncan situation, correct?
Right. Right.
Okay, so that case is currently in the Louisiana Supreme Court. The lead plaintiff in that case is me.
Okay.
Is Gary Crockett versus the state of Louisiana.
Wow.
And if you notice during my campaign, that's not what I've been standing on. Because that is what I do on a regular basis. I fight and I litigate for the people.
Wow. Not
for a feather in my hat, but because it's the right thing to do. Okay. So what has happened after that is the NAACP, the Anti-Defamation League, everyone else piggybacked on the back of mine, which I should have opposed because it muddied the waters. Because they had already filed on their own, and theirs were dismissed. Mine was the only one that survived, and then they made rulings that they should have, but they also violated further rights in those rulings, and that's why it's at the Louisiana Supreme Court. I will fight for you the same way, because as much as it's about Calvin Duncan, it's about all of our constitutional rights being violated.
Yes. Yes.
And what you need right now is a fighter, but you also need someone who can budget, someone who can analyze, someone who can do for the people. There's nothing wrong with being a farmer. One of my chores in high school was I had to take care of a 3-acre plot to feed our family. There's nothing wrong with that. But most farmers today don't grow what we eat. And that's what most people don't understand. So, don't vote for a persona, vote for a real person. Don't vote for a personality. Vote for a real person. Look at who's behind everything, because Act Blue, who has given Jamie Davis the majority of his money, was on Capitol Hill last week pleading the fifth 22 times. Now, the only time you plead the fifth is when there's some criminal possibility. That is what they did 22 times. And that is where the majority of his money came from. Wow. So people need to look at the facts of everything. And why would they give so much to him? And not only that, all of his payments were on the same amount to the penny. So in other words, how can I give you 12 payments of $86,990.92? Lightning doesn't strike in the same place that many times.
Wow. Oh, that's something I didn't know. But not about the lightning, but who gave what to who.
Right. So all you got to do is go to fec.gov and you can drill down and see all of that.
Okay.
And what you will see from my campaign is that I self-funded my campaign. And the reason I did that in the primary is because I didn't want anyone telling me what to do, or no one twisting my arm or controlling me. Now, I am taking donations for the next phase, but it still won't be from corporations, lobbyists, and others.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So people do your research, but also get out and vote for Crockett. And as we joke around, vote for Crockett, you have more money in your pocket.
Okay. Well, Mr. Crockett, I want to thank you. You've been very gracious, and I'm sorry about those first mix up, and hopefully we'll be talking again on the Open Line Radio Show and bringing you to Lafayette into our studio in downtown Lafayette next time. And it wouldn't be so condensed like it is now. But we really appreciate you giving us this time and giving us your platform and your concerns.
Okay, hey, give me a call anytime. I'll be happy to share with you. It's
All
a
right.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. There you go, people. You just heard from the Senate candidate, Mr. Gary Crockett. And while I got this right here on the phone, we have a public safety message from the National Weather Service just popped up on my phone. Tropical storm watch for Iberia Parish has been upgraded to a tropical storm warning. You could get a storm surge in coastal flooding. Surges values of 2 to 4 feet expected. Rainfall rates in excess of 2 to 4 inches with higher rates possible. Wind gusts in excess of 40 miles an hour. Residents are asked to prepare and monitor local governments and media. So check your phones, people in Iberia Parish. Iberia Parish is under tropical storm warning, not a watch. A warning is which upgraded to little bit more serious issue. So check it out, people. Right after Mr. Crockett get off the phone, and I forgot to ask him about coastal protection. There's so many different things. Parishes that are close to the coast. You hear the stories about Louisiana being washed away and so forth, and so many other issues with the environment, with drilling on the coast and so forth. So much to talk about, so much to talk about, people. Pay attention to the news. And we're going to be right back in a minute here at the Open Line Radio Show. We want you to know that a couple of the events are being postponed concerning Juneteenth. And I need to pull up the poster again. And we're going to talk about it also and talk about the other issue in Mississippi and waiting for Brother Keith. He texted me he was coming on, so I'm still going to wait on him and see what's happening. But so much is going on, people. Let me put this up right here. The Juneteenth celebration is postponed in New Iberia this weekend because of the inclement weather. You just heard the message on the phone concerning Iberia Parish is under a coastal storm warning. That's my home area. And hopefully people be all right and to get their warning and to get prepared for this little storm that might be coming through or this bout with rain. So, again, pay attention to that, people. So much is going on. And so we could be right back with the Open Line Radio Show here on AOC Community Media.
You are live and interactive on the Open Line Radio Show. The lines are open. Call us at area code 337-272-8849 to get in on the conversation.
You are in the no disruption zone here on the Open Line Radio Show. Call in. We are taking your calls at 337-272-8849. Remember, please, no disruptions. Listen up, my people. June is Black Music Month. So here at the Open Line Radio Show and Real Talk TV, we are celebrating the rich and profound cultural and historical contributions of African American artists. Music is the soundtrack of all of us. Let's celebrate.
Ooh.
Line Radio Show here on AOC Community Media, celebrating Black Music Month. Black Music Month, my people. Before we be joined in a little bit by Brother Keith, he got in kind of late, but I got a troubling video I want to play, people. A troubling video that's a story that's making the rounds as far as you're concerned about police brutality, about the MAGA movement, about black folks' encounter with law enforcement. Whether it's right or wrong, we always seem to end up in the coroner's vehicle. So this is from Brother Rashad Ritchie, but I have some other video, and the people are reacting. And so pay attention to this story, people. Pay attention to this story.
Police, they shoot and kill a 1-year-old child. Put it up for a mask. Cohen Wiley, on this earth for 1 year, was killed after Senatobia police fired shots at a vehicle he was in. You would imagine that as horrific, evil, and unbelievable as this is, you would imagine police must be shooting at this vehicle for some kind of extreme, felonious reason. It was for shoplifting. It was for shoplifting. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation has now been called to investigate the shooting that involved this local police department and the Tate County Sheriff's Office. This was at a Walmart. This was on a Sunday. It left the child dead and a person critically injured. Police on the scene responded to a shoplifting call at the Walmart off US Highway 51. That's according to NBI. Officers encountered 2 people and a child leaving the store in a car and attempted to stop the vehicle. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation said that the driver drove in the direction of the officers and almost struck one of them. We have heard that narrative before. As a result, officers discharged their weapons as the vehicle left the scene. The vehicle reportedly arrived at a nearby hospital. The child was pronounced dead on the scene. This next part compounds this whole scenario in an unimaginable way. They were accused of stealing diapers, obviously for the child. Quote, "It didn't have to happen this way. It could have been handled differently," said Nicole Wiley, a relative of those involved in the incident. Citing the local police department opened fire in a public setting over allegedly some Pampers. Now, before I get into the statement from the police, I want to remind everyone that this is about a freaking company. This is about a corporation and their private policy to the consumer, and that is you. That private policy is if someone who is an alleged consumer inside of a Walmart and they are accused of shoplifting, the accused is not the guilty. If a private company, loss prevention operative, accuses a Walmart shopper of theft, no matter what that theft may be, they have what's called a ZT policy, zero tolerance. They prosecute all cases. That individual or individuals, those individuals will be, as Walmart would say, prosecuted, and some will add to the fullest extent of the law. So because of this policy that has been around for many years with Walmart, and because of their relationship with the local police department and this known policy, they treat the Walmart theft complaint as if it was dispatched from 911, as if someone witnessed some kind of grand felony taking place. Do you have their vehicle information? Was it in the parking lot? You have cameras there. Do you have a visual? Well, we can find them. We don't have to shoot at a vehicle we don't have to run them down. It's a misdemeanor most of the time. So now a child is dead. You have a crime of survival likely because a person typically doesn't steal Pampers if they have enough disposable income or income to take care of responsibilities to where they can avoid all of this by buying the Pampers. And the police shoot them, kill them in sight. Well, it looks like they were trying to hit an officer, or they almost hit an officer, which we've heard that line before. That narrative never has panned out to be actually true. The police department released a statement. The statement is soulless. They are currently investigating the officer-involved shooting that occurred today at approximately 2:05 p.m. at Walmart. This is the statement. Preliminary reports indicate that officers responded to a report of shoplifting, which led officers to discharging their firearms. Does that make sense to you? A report of shoplifting that led to officers discharging their firearms. We are committed to full transparency as the investigation progresses and facts are verified. We will share as much information as possible. At this time, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, they have not released the names of anyone involved. There's truth, then there are facts. Here are the facts. The fact is, it is illegal to shoplift. That is a fact. The fact, Walmart has the right to prosecute commercial shoplifters. It is a fact that police have a prerequisite opportunity based on the shoplifting claim to pursue a suspect who has been named. But here's truth. Context is true. A child is dead because Walmart has a policy. A child is dead because obviously a parent or parents who live in the poorest state in America, Mississippi, could not afford diapers. The truth is that no one at that Walmart, a company that makes profit hand over fist, would have listened to the cries of a parent who said, I don't have enough money, but my baby needs diapers. Diapers aren't just diapers. If you don't have clean diapers for a 1-year-old, the 1-year-old could get an infection. The 1-year-old could get sick. The 1-year-old could die that way. We have yet to hear directly from the police chief. We're going to put him up. His name is Harold Vendeford. Chief Vendeford is in charge of that police station, responsible for his officers, and okayed the statement I just read. Let's go to reactions. Carolyn Stokes said, quote, the police department not telling us anything. They removed the baby's body without anybody seeing it. Carolyn Stokes, great-grandmother of the dead child. Quote, all we know is that a car was shot up and a 1-year-old baby was killed and that nobody tells us anything, like we're not anybody. End quote. Derek Shaw, a local resident, voiced concerns about the decision to confront the vehicle in the parking lot. Quote, they're supposed to trail her home, get her tag number, Shaw said. Like they said, stop chasing people. Well, see, Walmart made the call. Walmart has a policy. And Walmart's policy is no exception. Prosecute fullest extent. The reason why there's this outcome that seems to lack humanity is because the input, the genesis of this lacked humanity. You will never get to a place of humanitarian righteousness if you don't start there with the human being in mind. They started with a dollar sign, not a person. We'll bring you updates as they come.
Back here at the Open Line Radio Show, that was so troubling and so sad. A 1-year-old getting killed over incident of suspected shoplifting. Only in America this would happen. Even if the parents were guilty and not giving them a pass by stealing, but the whole point is law enforcement shows up and blow you away. Same thing that happen when people have mental illness episodes. You call them and they show up and they blow you away. So they are actually saving you from yourself, or they're saving themselves from being encountering a real live human being. Supposedly that's what they get trained for. So they are actually killing 1-year-old. How can that not happen under other administration, but more so under this administration? You know, this 1-year-old child, did she deserve to die? Did he deserve to die? I think that's a 1-year-old boy. Some had reports listed as it was a girl, but this is a 1-year-old getting killed in America by Donald Trump and his MAGA sycophants, the idiots in front of the White House, hollering, Michelle Obama is a man. When we got proof, actual proof, I would bet those MAGA cheerleaders out here in Lafayette and other surrounding areas take a picture of Melania and take a picture of Michelle. And I'm going another direction, Sister Khadijah, if you're listening and looking at it, and put pictures side by side. Who much resembles a real live woman as opposed to a robot-looking figure of what's her name, Melania. So these MAGA sycophants, they're so sick that they don't even realize what reality is. You know, as that whole notion of a cage fight in front of the White House. That's a reality TV created by Donald Trump. So again, people, pay attention to this story. I got some more clips I'm gonna run. Don't look like my guest coming on today, but Brother Keith, my co-host. We got so much to talk about. Also, remember Juneteenth coming up, and we just had acknowledgement of Juneteenth in this area. We also had this flag raising ceremony in front of the Lafayette Parish Courthouse. And my thing is, Mayor President does not denounce those MAGA sycophants who were in front of the White House. So I wonder how she feels about Michelle Obama. So if you are favoring, some of us associate slurs as our people. If somebody slurs your people, wouldn't you feel upset? Wouldn't you feel upset if somebody had had a public platform because, the stage that the wrestler was on, looking like a fake broke down Hulk Hogan, who's also a fake broke down person himself who passed away. You had a stage that was in front of the United States White House, which was paid for by taxpayers. You had a company that sponsored it was Budweiser. Budweiser sponsored the stage that the wrestler was on, who made that slur. So you got to remember who you are associating with, or what products you are associated with. So I don't know if this MAGA supporter, Mayor Blanco, she's not publicly supporter MAGA, but you guys still, as a member of the Republican Party and maybe a future high-ranking member of the Republican Party, you got to ask her the question: does she support what the MAGA sycophants in Washington, D.C. did or said, So this reminds us more symbolism over substance, And that's seemed the order of the day here in South Louisiana. Also, this right here is in the Louisiana Illuminator. Special ed and civil rights to be shifted out of the Trump-stricken Department of Education. Go and look at it. It's an interesting article and showing how they are slowly cutting funding to special ed programs that trickle down to the states and to civil rights within the Department of Education. Now, you say, well, Brother Jay, that's the federal government. Well, federal government sponsors some of those programs or, pay for some of those programs on the state and local level. So if you have special ed funding being discontinued on the federal level, where do you think that money go to? Go back into Elon Musk Doge type situation. So Louisiana want to get that money. And even this governor who seems to want to imitate everything this idiot in the White House does. So he definitely going to do the same thing on a state level. So pay attention to that story. It's a great story in the Louisiana Illuminator. Again, I'm going to try to pull up this video concerning what happened in Mississippi. Hopefully we have some individuals from that area in a future show. And we'll talk about those things. Let's see if I can pull up the video. It's really troubling to see what is going on concerning that young person.
A shattered window and bullet hole in the windshield. The aftermath of a deadly police shooting in Senatobia, Mississippi that resulted in the death of 1-year-old Cohen Wiley. The shooting sparking outrage.
I'm more angry because the situation that took place really was unnecessary. What I'm hearing from what happened, it was unnecessary.
According to investigators, the shooting, which took place Sunday in this Walmart parking lot, occurred when officers responded to a shoplifting call involving 2 adults and a child. Authorities say the 2 adults, now identified by the family's lawyer as the boy's mother and her friend, tried to get away, driving toward and nearly hitting an officer. Another officer then firing at the car. In this video, officers can be seen running. One witness telling a local reporter of the 2 adults. One was carrying the child, the other a box of diapers.
Policeman shot, open fire in a public setting over allegedly some Pampers.
Investigators say the trio ended up at a local hospital where the 1-year-old was pronounced dead. One of the adults suffering critical injuries. No officers were injured. The family of Cohen Wiley now distraught and demanding answers.
I don't know anything right now. My grandson gone. I just want justice.
Tonight, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is now investigating the shooting. George Solis, NBC News.
All right. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
So I'm going to stand up for my people. I would love to hear that the officer that did the fatal shooting be terminated. He should not be at home on any kind of leave or payment. He should be terminated. I think he should face consequences. He should be charged with first-degree murder because I feel like it was intent. The car was moving. How can you shoot at a moving car? You seen the child get in the car and you still took that shot. You are heartless, and God will deal with him. If nobody else will, God will.
And can you just tell me your name? You don't have to tell me the first name.
My name is Kenesha.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Kenesha.
Kenesha, can you spell that?
Kenesha.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Because you are my voice.
Sure, thank you. We appreciate you sharing that with us. Whew, it's so hot out here today. So yeah, like I said, probably just hit around the area. I know we got some people to.
You don't want to go in with us?
Okay, no worries. Thank you. It's just going to be a straight live, but I expected that. So. Well, I think Autumn's already going in. I'd rather, I think Autumn's here to cover the pressers. So.
Oh, so we're staying out.
Yeah, rally trying to garner some support and trying to get some questions answered. And if you look on the roof, actually, you can see some sheriff's deputies. They've been surrounding the premises here, trying to make sure that they say everything remains safe out here. Now, to walk you through some of what had happened here, as you mentioned, the Tate County Sheriff's Office stated that there was an incident that occurred at a Walmart on US 51 here. MBI tells us that the officers responded to a shoplifting call at the Walmart, but when officers arrived, they saw two people and a child, said to be 2-year-old Cohen Wiley, according to his mother on Facebook, who were leaving the store and getting into the car. Officers then tried to stop the car, but investigators say the driver drove toward those officers, nearly striking one of them. At that point, an officer fired their weapon. Then the car left the scene. The occupants later arrived at a hospital, and that child was pronounced dead. The officer did not face any major injuries, according to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Now, again, you can see many of these people filing into City Hall, holding up signs in support of Cohen and his family here. We just spoke with a woman who said that she is a black mother and she understands a lot of the difficulties and a lot of the sadness, even though she did not know the family that was impacted by this. Now, within the next hour, we are expected to hear more remarks from Mississippi officials and expected to learn more about the officer who was involved in this case. We will continue to speak to more people as this rally unfolds. As you're hearing these chants and other things, people have been walking the streets, very passionate about this and really seeking a lot of answers at this time. And of course, I will bring that to you. But for now, live in Senatobia, Mississippi, I'm Lauren Turman, ABC 24 News. Okay, awesome. And then I saw your text, so you do want to use the picture? Because that was the only one I saw. No, I have not. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. I tried to see the picture of...
Yeah, we're back here at the Open Line Radio Show. We have on the line now. We have our co-host, Brother Keith. Brother Keith, welcome back, man. Look like you just coming off that vacation to Florida. No, not to Florida, the Bahamas, man. You know, who wants to go by Ron DeSantis right now? Who wants to go around all these races? Go ahead, Brother Keith. Go ahead, brother. I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing your audio. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not getting any audio from you. None. You might have to reboot because I'm not getting any. All right. Brother Keith will be right back, and we'll go right back to the video.
No
work this day.
It's not funny. You ain't doing nothing but condoning the behavior that they say we have anyway.
Yeah, there's no audio associated with the video.
We're not trying to pick somebody up off the corner. Stop putting them on Facebook, thinking it's funny. The only people it's funny to is them.
But people who are listening, this is from Zenobia, Mississippi, if I'm pronouncing it right, where this young person was murdered by the police department, local police department. The protest grew larger by the day. Matter of fact, they had to tear gas the audience. And this is some file footage from the local affiliate. I think they cut the audio on that. Certainly, this is a growing movement behind the death of these young people. You know, the thing with us, we protest truth. But I know they don't pay attention. The thing is, even with these MAGA sycophants in office right now who don't give a damn, who are actually sending ICE to hurt us in the streets, everything is a test run to see how far they go. 250 years coming up on America's celebration. One of the questions we got to ask ourselves, are we in the same place technically? You got to say, technically, we in the same place. Are we? You got to ask that question. This doesn't make any sense for 1 year to get killed. So let me fast forward the video and see if we can get some audio. It's a long video, and I've been sent a lot of video concerning this for the show. They had their trained snipers up on the roof also. I think they purposely cut the audio.
How long do you think the commissioner's investigation is going to be?
They vary. Right now, you have to do the autopsy. That has to be performed.
We are staying on top of breaking news out of Senatobia, Mississippi, where people are packing out the city hall there, outside and inside. We're hearing from authorities who are investigating the case. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is overseeing a shooting, an officer-involved shooting that happened outside of a Walmart that ended with a 1-year-old dead. And that 1-year-old is named Cohen Wiley. And today, Senatobia community members all rallied for justice for that 1-year-old Cohen Wiley. We are expected to also hear from the family of Cohen Wiley as well. This is outside of the Senatobia City Hall, where you can see a large crowd has now gathered. Lots of people speaking in opposition of this or for justice, calling for justice of how the events unfolded leading up to that shooting. So large gathering, as you can see. We have our Lauren Turman on scene there, as well as we have 2 cameras following the developments that we are seeing right here live. We do know that the family is now being represented by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. We also heard that Van Turner, who was a well-known Memphis attorney, is also accompanying those legal efforts as well. So we do have 2 cameras with team coverage following today's efforts for justice for Cohen Wiley. This is the rally. We're going to take a quick listen in, if we can, to hear what people are saying outside during this demonstration outside of City Hall.
It's been going on. It's been going on. You can't go ahead. Sorry.
All right, we are going to touch back base with our crew there once they get settled. But this is inside of City Hall, where we know that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is taking over this case at the moment. We do have an official there addressing the public. We heard one person ask about what would happen or what is going to happen with the officer who was involved in this shooting. And the gentleman there mentioned that typical procedure would be to put officers on administrative leave. Senatobia city officials are also present, as you can see. Earlier, this whole room was packed, but it seems they may have done some crowd control at this moment. So let's listen in to see what else we can gather from what's happening at this moment.
Leave without pay. Right. That's the motion that's practically been made. In executive session, they can still take that up and make a vote. I know that's what you can do. Would you agree?
I agree that they have things that they can do in executive session that aren't discussed in public. I do agree.
But I mean, that decision could be made.
There's a wide range, yes, on this group.
Would they have to have had, could they have put that in the voting motion and have a vote, or does the law prohibit them from doing that?
No, the law don't, no, I ain't a lawyer.
I think, you know, I don't want to speak for the council here, but the typically personnel matters you take up in executive session because of liability concerns. If they have a frank discussion and something is said that's not accurate, then that opens the city up for defamation claims and other things. So those are typically matters that are handled in executive session so that you don't damage reputation and personal information. So that is typically how that's done.
So that question, that the motion that they were trying to get you to make, was that proper or not?
I don't know.
It is, they're choosing not to speak for liability reasons.
Council, we all know that was proper, the motion was proper. Now, we gonna bone this motion.
It was a motion, and I don't know that that was on the agenda, and I'm not sure how the documents work.
You can put stuff on the agenda and call me.
And I think that's probably what they will discuss. I will tell y'all, just like we told them, we're about to meet with the press over at the courthouse and answer any questions that they might have about the process. So we're about to make our way over there. Unless y'all have any other questions of me, I'll be glad to try to answer those. If y'all have any questions after you feel like you need to reach out, talk to the chief and get an answer, and we'll give my number and I'll respond. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
That over to the public.
Yes.
Was inside of Senatobia City Hall. I'm Pepper Baker, ABC 24 anchor. We're following breaking news right now out of Senatobia. This is a call for justice for Cohen Wiley, a rally that is taking place outside of Senatobia City Hall. Lots of people are gathered out there, more than hundreds really, and this is all because of an officer-involved shooting that ended with a 1-year-old killed outside of a Walmart on Highway 51 in Senatobia. And now people are showing up to City Hall asking for transparency and accountability. This is video from that incident where officers were responding to a shoplifting call outside of the Walmart, and an adult with a child were seen running, and they got into a car and tried to drive away, and that's when an officer fired their weapon at the car, hitting and killing a 1-year-old child. That is Cohen Wiley, who later died at the hospital. We do know that the family, Wiley's family, is now being represented by National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump. We also heard well-known Memphis attorney Van Turner is also joining in those legal efforts. We do have our Lauren Turman on the scene. She will be giving us a live report shortly. But lots of people today calling for accountability. Again, this is inside of City Hall in Senatobia, where you see city officials are addressing the public. Tensions are high right now. Of course, this is bringing some very emotional, lots of emotions when police-involved shootings happen here. So we did hear from an official. We know the Memphis Bureau of Investigation is handling the case, and they were answering questions that seemed to be more procedural. One person in the crowd inside of the City Hall was asking what was going to happen to the officer who fired their weapon, and the official said that typically officers are put on administrative leave. That is not confirmed if this particular officer is. We are still going to work on getting some confirmations here. We are expected to also hear from Wiley's family, but outside of the court of the City Hall, there is a large gathering. That is where I'm hearing our Lauren Turman is. So we're going to turn it over to Lauren Turman here. So Lauren, what are you hearing? Give us the kind of lay of the land out there. Lots of people showing up in this effort.
Yes, Pepper, there are quite a few people, hundreds in fact, out here. Really, you can see all of them behind me. Now, we just finished up hearing some speeches from several of the people who were out here. You can see all around here, people are gathered holding signs saying justice for Cohen Wiley. That is the child who was believed to be killed in this incident. We have that confirmation from his mother. Several other people on the scene have also been holding up plenty of different shots, opportunities for things to be seen in a lot of these instances here. We heard a lot of different people talking as well about how they are tired of police brutality in these incidences. They are tired of these kinds of things happening in their community as well, sir. And you can see somebody here who is very passionate about that, sir. And you're hearing from a lot of different people out here as well. So, I mean, again, you just heard that gentleman. You're seeing a lot of the passion here. You're seeing a lot of the people talking about the importance of keeping their community safe, of keeping much of that greater community well out here. Now, a couple of minutes ago, I heard from somebody out here as we were talking to people and trying to gather more information that there was several items that were being thrown out here, and then you saw a lot of people running in some different directions. But they've actually gathered back together to hear more from the organizers and the speakers as well. Again, all of them calling for justice, all of them saying that this is something that is not right. It is worth noting out here that as we have been trying to get answers from some of the law enforcement, they have neither been confirming or denying location-related questions. We've also asked them questions about getting into City Hall to hear some more of what is being said, and they said that they could not confirm or deny that information for us either. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit more of what's happening here. If you can see all the way up there on the roof, there's several Tate County Sheriff's deputies that are out here as well. A lot of people have been yelling and actually pointing at them and trying to make sure that things are as safe as possible without any kind of acts of violence. Now, of course, I will be sure to bring you more information about this tonight at 6 o'clock, as well as what we are just generally learning more from officers out here at this time. So we will bring you that information and what public officials are saying as we learn more. But for now, live in Senatobia, Mississippi, I'm Lauren Turman, ABC 24 News.
Lauren, thank you, and we are going to continue following this. Lauren Turman will be back with the live report at 6 o'clock, so please stay with ABC 24 as we continue our breaking news coverage out of Senatobia, Mississippi, where hundreds of people are gathered outside of City Hall demanding justice for one-year-old Cohen Wiley, who was shot and killed by an officer on Sunday. Stay with us. We are turning now. We're going to reset here as we move to our 6 o'clock show on ABC 24. Thank you for watching. At any moment, we expect to learn more about this shooting that killed a toddler. This is cell phone video showing the moments before police shot into a car while responding to a shoplifting at Walmart. Thank you for joining us for this breaking news. I'm Pepper Baker. Our team coverage starts with a Justice for Cohen Wiley rally that is happening right now outside of Senatobia City Hall. That's where our Lauren Turman is live with that part of the story. Lauren, lots of people behind you. What are some of them saying?
Well, you can actually see the sign here behind me. It says Justice for Cohen. The young man men who actually just spoke to me saying that they are wanting to have justice out here. Plenty of people are passionate, as you can see, hundreds out here, in fact, trying to get more information about what happened, calling for an end to police brutality. Many of them seem to be moving to the court where the other press conference, more relative to what Mississippi Bureau of Investigation and other Mississippi investigators have been saying in this case. We are expecting to learn more about the incident that happened here surrounding the death of Cohen. We are also expecting to learn more about the events that surrounded and the officer involved in this case as well. Now again, hundreds of people have been out here really calling for justice, calling for an end to police brutality in this case, and saying that they are tired of children, particularly black children, being killed out here. We've heard from several people, several organizers and speakers as well, talking about the impact of things like this happening in their community. Now, I do want to give you a little bit of a view of what's happening up top here, because that's been a really large point of discussion as a train passes by, so I apologize if it's difficult to hear. But you can see some sheriff's deputies actually lining the roof of the place, trying to get a more precise view of what is going on here. Several people have been saying that they feel that is unnecessary, trying to get more of a real peaceful rally going on here. So again, you can see lots of people going, walking, standing in solidarity with one another, holding up signs in honor of Cohen and trying to really support his family out here. You've also heard many of those people talking about the impact of just being in this community and really standing with one another in situations and circumstances like this one. So again, as we continue to talk to people out here, and we expect to hear more from Mississippi authorities in this case, we will be sure to bring that information to you. Again, we are expecting to hear more, particularly about the officer in this situation, and trying to understand a little bit more of what happened here in this scenario. It seems like the conference that was going on at City Hall is just kind of wrapping up here, and so as we of course learn more information, we will be sure to bring it to you, and we will be sure of course to monitor this press conference as well, and as we learn any more information, we will give that to you first. But for now, live in Senatobia, Mississippi, I'm Lauren Turman, ABC 24 News.
Lauren, thank you for that. Now, we did have a live camera out at the press conference inside of Senatobia City Hall, where we did see an official, a law enforcement authority giving some, answering some questions from the public who was inside there. And one of them, they were really more so procedural, going over what happens in incidents like this. One question was, what's going to happen to the officer who fired the shot that ended up killing the toddler? And the authority or the investigator responded basically saying that in instances like these, it's typical for an officer to be on administrative leave. We are still working to find more details. It seemed like a very preliminary press conference, not a lot of details able to give us at this moment, but we are on the ground there in Senatobia, as you saw with our Lauren Turman, and we do have a second crew that is ready to get more information as it becomes available. Now, this isn't the first time Senatobia has been at the center of investigations drawing national attention. Now, in 2023, police arrested a 10-year-old boy after an officer saw him urinating beside his mother's car outside a law office. That case sparked lawsuits and led police leaders to acknowledge officers violated department policy in how they handled the child. Then in 2024, a federal lawsuit accused a Senatobia police officer of sexually assaulting a woman during a traffic stop. The lawsuit claims the officer drove the woman to a secluded area after detaining her. The city, police chief, and officer were all named in that suit. Now, again, hundreds of people are outside of Senatobia City Hall, and that's where our Lauren Turman is live. You're taking a live look now. Lots of people gathering, calling for justice for Cohen Wiley, the 1-year-old boy who was shot and killed by police officers outside of a Walmart who were responding to a shoplifting call on Sunday. Now, we did learn that National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump is representing the Wiley family in this, and Memphis attorney Van Turner is also listed as part of those legal efforts. Ben Crump also represented Tyree Nichols' family, Rovon Wells and Rodney Wells, and still is representing.
and whether or not that trial against any officers would proceed.
Let's see what he's saying, y'all. All right, y'all be quiet for a minute, please.
You ready?
All right, y'all be quiet so we can hear.
I'm Commissioner Sean Tyndall with the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety oversees 11 different divisions, including the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations. In 2022, legislation was passed that required the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation to investigate all officer-involved shootings in the state of Mississippi. As part of that legislation, once that investigation is complete, our files are turned over to the Mississippi Attorney General's office, and they will review and make a determination as to whether or not to present that case to a grand jury and whether or not that trial against any officers would proceed after that point. This was done to bring independence to the process, one where the public could trust the process knowing that it was independent from local agencies. Mississippi Bureau of Investigation policy now dictates that once that investigation is complete, our entire file, as well as any evidence collected, body cam footage, dash cam footage, surveillance footage, will also be available to the public as part of a public records request. The purpose for that is because we believe that transparency creates accountability, and with accountability, we're able to maintain the public trust. Those policies and procedures will be followed in this case as well. To make no mistake, this is a very tragic situation. I want the public to be assured that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation will conduct its independent investigation. We have 5 agents working on this case, gathering statements, gathering evidence, and working diligently to prepare a file to present to the AG's office. I would ask that the public maintain patience as much as possible, and I know this is a very frustrating time, but maintain patience as this process is done. And keep in mind that it's important for us to be able to interview witnesses without threat of intimidation. And one of the things that we don't want to have is witnesses that are afraid to come forward out of intimidation. So it's important that we keep civility during this process so that we can get to the bottom of it and we can analyze all the evidence and then ultimately make it available to you all. And again, I understand your frustration. Unfortunately, these incidences have occurred all over the state of Mississippi. And over the last several years, NBI has done numerous investigations. And in all those cases, the ultimate findings were made available to the public. And so I want you to be assured that it will be a thorough investigation and it will be one where transparency is there. I'll be glad to answer any questions from the media first, if there are any that you might have about the process. I will not get into the details of the investigation. I would have everybody keep in mind, this just occurred about 48 hours ago, so it's still a very, very new investigation.
I'm Rob Sneed with Fox 13 News. Question about the actual body cam video. When is that expected to be released? A lot of people keep asking about that. I know that there's a process, but is there a time frame?
The way that we've handled it in the last 4 years is we will release that once that investigation is complete. And once that part of the process is done, if you think about any other criminal case, we never release evidence before that time. So we try to treat this the same. We also want to make sure that all witnesses that come forward do it to the best of their recollection. And sometimes when you release that evidence early, witnesses don't want to come forward because they feel like the case is closed at that point. And we feel like it's the best policy to do that once the investigation is complete.
Raven Copeland with Channel 3. Raven Copeland with Channel 3. Raven Copeland with Channel 3. I'm sorry. Can you tell me how many videos you suspect you have of gun Walmart and gun?
Can't hear you, sir.
He's asking about the different types of video that we expect are available. We always retrieve any body cam footage, dash cam footage. Of course, this happened at a Walmart, and Walmart does have a highly sophisticated level of security cameras and systems, and we will work with Walmart to make sure that we obtain every piece of evidence that they have as far as security footage.
Raven Copeland with Channel 3. What's the status of the officer involved in this shooting? Is he placed on suspension, on leave? I know there are calls for him to be fired. What's the latest with that? Well,
I can tell you again, we conduct the officer-involved shooting part of the investigation. Each agency in the state, when these incidents happen, have an opportunity to do their own internal affairs investigation, internal analysis of what happens, and ultimately make those decisions. I can tell you it's very, very routine, and it would be quite unusual that an officer after an incident like this would not be put on some sort of administrative leave, at least for a short amount of time, but often for an extended amount.
There's information online talking about this officer's past, saying that he had a kind of a shady past. Is there anything you can kind of clear up or elaborate on it concerning the officer and his history with the public at various jobs?
Not that we would have. I mean, I can tell you the Board of Law Enforcement Officer Standards and Training is housed at the Department of Public Safety. They oversee the certificates of officers. Reviewing this officer's history, there's nothing in the file that would indicate any such problems.
Paula Burris, community activist out of Memphis, Tennessee. On this day, in the time leading up to this incident, has anyone been arrested or has there been a police report made for shoplifting?
I'm not going to, again, get any specifics of the investigation at this point. That's all part of the ongoing investigation. I can tell you NBI is conducting that as well as getting witness statements, and so I cannot answer that at this point.
Are you able to speak to the policy that officers follow when it comes to pursuing an alleged shoplifter or any type of crime? What is that policy?
And again, that is something department by department that is established. And just to give you an example, we oversee 900 law enforcement officers at the Department of Public Safety, the largest of which is the Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol might have a different pursuit policy than Jackson PD, for example.
What is this pursuit policy for this scene?
I don't know the pursuit policy for here in Senatobia, and I can tell you that's also one of the things that a policy violation would be much different than a criminal or violation, and one in which we would really be taking a deep analysis of, but we will look at that. And it's one of those things that across the board it takes time. Again, this happened on Sunday. We got to gather a lot of that evidence, and it doesn't just happen as quick as everybody wants it to. I understand that, but I cannot allow expediency to overtake the quality of the work that we're expected to do in these types of cases.
What would you say to the public to reassure them? Because a lot of them obviously are angry today, or passionate, upset, hurt. There's a lot of feelings. So what is the direct message you would have to
Why y'all keep lynching us in our babies?
Again, and I understand the frustrations. I mean, I've seen this happen in other communities across the state. That's why I'm here. Is to answer these types of questions so that everybody can understand the process that we're going through. And again, understand that our goal is to ultimately be transparent in our investigation so that everybody can take a look at that. And if the wrong conclusions ultimately reached, then those decisions will be looked at and reviewed and scrutinized by the public. And that's how transparency creates accountability.
There you go, people. As we close out the Open Line Radio Show, I thought it was very important for me to play the whole file footage. There's a lot more footage if you go online and Google the case of the young child getting killed in Mississippi, and Attorney Ben Crump is handling that case, and there's a lot of posts on the case. The whole thing, and I think we have a call from Sister Khadijah. Maybe she want to get in one last comment before we go off the air. Let's see, Sister. Good morning, Sister Khadijah. Oh, she hung up. I guess she didn't want to be on air. We got 2 minutes left on the show. Again, people, I want people to pay attention to what's going on, not only with this case, but Louisiana right now, South Louisiana is under a tropical storm warning, especially the Iberia Parish area, my home area. Just got that post from the parish president about a tropical storm warning for Iberia Parish, so spread the word in South Louisiana. Also, people, let me see if I can get this post up. There will be the Juneteenth celebration for New Iberia, Louisiana, has been postponed until June 27. Pass that word around. Pass that word around, people. Again, we want to thank you so much, and we're going to see you next week on another edition of also Real Talk on Tuesday and Back to the Open Line show here on Wednesday of next week. So until next week, we'll see you later.
Big stepper, come on. Shout out to D4. Big dude. And that's low. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on stepping. Come on. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on stepping. Shit. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on stepping. Hold up. 1, 2, 3. Now step, then turn. Keep up. 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 Hold up. 1, 2, 3. Hold up. We're gonna start right here. Big dude. I'ma keep on stepping, I'm turned. Shit got the line, then step, I learn. Big dude stepping on haters, I'm blunt. Step left, step right, all in the chunks. Then I put my chains on, then I put my reins on, then I put my watch on, then I get my swing on. Then I put the car, ride the horse, it's a theme song. All in the field, hitting the step, getting rained on. I'ma step to the front, I'ma step to the back, I'ma spin to the right, I'ma walk to the left, I'ma get low with it. Hey, I'ma take a bad bitch to the floor with me, big. Now step, now turn, come on. 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 Keep up. But I'ma keep on